Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we are going to have a look at 6 tanks. Yes, 6 all different tanks from different tiers, and each one of these tanks have one thing in common. Let's guess what you think all these tanks does have in common. Now, I will probably be doing a live, this will probably be going sort of live as a premiere, so I'll be in chat with you to see your guesses. So we're going to talk about each individual tank as we see it. First up, we have the E25. This is a tier 7 tank destroyer with amazing DPM. Obviously the reload it doesn't quite make the top 5 in quickest reload. In fact, it is number 6, so it just misses out on the top 5 quickest reload tanks in the game. Now, it's a German tank, got no armor. It absolutely got no armor whatsoever. I played this tank for a bit, and it can be fun. It can be a fun tank, but most of the time you just get absolutely torn apart. It's definitely the kind of tank where you sit at the back and you use that DPM. If you can't do that, find a big tank. Now, because this is so low to the ground, if you can find a big tank, then you will be able to get under the tank's gun, and that is what we're going to do here with this VK168. Now, luckily he's not looking at us, so we are just able, I don't want to ram him, because if I ram him I will lose quite a lot of hit points. And now I'm just going to sit behind him and completely farm some damage here. He is going to turn, but you can see we are under his gun, so we're at the side of him. Try not, if it's a tank with good gun depression, then yeah, obviously try and either get to behind him or at the side of him. Next up, we have the Leopard 1. Now, the Leopard 1 again is a German medium tank. It has just about everything except for armor. Now, this is my all-time favorite tank in the game. It has been for a very long time, mainly because, I mean, it's Wargaming buffed the tank a while ago now. I think it was a while ago, ever so slightly, but that little buff that they did, they now have made this tank the highest DPM medium tank in tier 10. So obviously any buff to the Leopard 1 is welcome by me. Doesn't matter what kind of buff. If it's a buff, I will welcome that buff. It is absolutely a fantastic tank to drive. Beautiful tank, but it's not for the noober players. Now, the reason I love this tank so much is because it does have everything. It has that DPM, it has penetration, it has gun depression, but it doesn't have armor, and I think that's why I love the tank, because it actually in tier 10 it kind of makes you think about what you're gonna do. It's like, if you want to poke, then you're like, okay, maybe I best not poke, where you may be able to poke in something like an Object 140 or a T62 or even an STB, something with a strong turret, where this, you're just going to get HE'd. You need to think about what's around you. You could be HE'd from pretty much anyone. So you have to bear that in mind. Now, at this point in the game, I know there's 2 tanks there. I know the pattern is there, but I'm not too worried about the pattern. I really want to take care of this FV4005. And whilst he's not looking at me, I don't mind actually this pattern shooting me, because we do manage to take him out. Even if I was to die there, you know, it's not the end of the world. We are going to win. It's a 6 versus 3 at this point, and there goes the Death Star. So now it's only it's a 6 versus 2. So Leopard 1, absolutely a fantastic tank if you know how to play it. If you're not good with medium tanks, or if you're not good with tanks with no armor, then the Leopard 1 is not for you. The speed of the tank as well is just absolutely fantastic, and I could play the Leopard 1. The Leopard 1 is something that I could just play, you know, all day. I don't mind it. I don't get bored from it. I grinded it on my free-to-play account, and I've got loads of aces in it. You know, it's a fun tank to play, and I really enjoy this tank. So can you guys guess what the one thing is common? One thing in common is. Next up, we have the grill. Again, it is a German. It's a German tank destroyer. Absolutely fantastic. I love the grill. The waffle, obviously, in tier 9 is better than the grill. But what I love about the grill is just the gun on this tank. The speed. I love the fact that you can take a big damage shot and then get the hell out of there. Use the speed, because the speed is one of the fastest tank destroyers in the game. And you could do stuff like that. You could take a shot. I mean, we are shooting from distance here. We're taking the shots. We don't actually have a fantastic game. But the grill, not many people actually like the grill. I mean, it is disappointing if you go from the waffle to the grill, because the waffle over the grill is just so much better, apart from the DPM or whatever. But it just feels much better. Against tier 8 as well, the waffle is almost overpowered. It is almost OP. I wouldn't say it's OP. In the right hand, it is OP. Next up, again, we have another German. This one, the E50M. Again, it is a medium tank in tier 10. Now, this is probably one of the strongest tier 10 medium tanks in the game. I don't mean it's the best, I mean it's the strongest. The armor profile on this thing is amazing. The DPM is great, not as good as some in tier 10. But the armor profile on this is great. The damage it puts out, you can bully other tanks. You really can bully other medium tanks in this. And of course, if you have the opportunity to ram a tank, I would definitely recommend ramming a tank if you can. Of course, if you've got the hit points, because you could deal a lot of damage when you ram a tank. So much damage. If you can ram something like a Leopard or a Bat Chat or something, you know, something even in tier 9, something that's light, I would honestly do it, because you're going to do like 1,000 damage. Is it good for close combat? I mean, yes, if you're wiggling. The bottom plate is weak, and obviously your sides are weak. The upper plate is strong. The turret is strong. And of course, you do have the DPM, but you don't have quite the DPM some of these Russian tanks that have got. The objects, the T-22s, the T-62, the Leopards. But overall, this is probably one of the strongest tanks in tier 10. One of the strongest medium tanks in tier 10. It's basically heavy. It's basically a heavy armor with medium speed and a medium gun. It does do quite high alpha as well. It can do high alpha. Has the gun depression as well, so if you can use that gun depression, you will get some bounces. But I absolutely love the E50M. It is a popular choice. People who play the E50M tend to like it. There's not many people that don't like the tank. So again, can you guess what's the common thing about all these tanks? Next up, we are moving from the German tanks, and we have gone to the AT-15. Now, this thing got buffed, and it has about 4,000 DPM. The DPM is absolutely insane now. But is it a good tank? I still don't rate the tank that much because of the armor profile. When Wargaming buffed the DPM on the tank, it was just like, really? It needs an armor buff. It really does need an armor buff. Maybe the hatch, the same as the tortoise. That's supposed to be like heavily armored tanks, but there is just too many weak points with this tank. Although if you can get yourself in a hold down position, hide the hatch, use the DPM, always try and go for tracks, because your DPM is so high, your reload is so low, you can really just keep the tanks where you want to keep them. If you go for tracks, then there is no chance that these tanks are moving. So that is the next tank on the list. Next up, we are going for the final tank. It is the T-62A. Now, over the years, Wargaming have just buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed this tank. Most recently was the gun depression. So I'm trying to think what it was then. The gun depression. They was going to put it at, I think it was 8 degrees, but I think Wargaming changed it and put it at 7 degrees or something like that. But it absolutely crazy. It's high DPM. It has a fantastic turret. It's got great speed, and now it has the gun depression. it's just a fantastic tank. You can always perform well when you're driving the T62A. Now, let's get to it. What has all these tanks got in common? All of these tanks that I have shown today have the best accuracy in the game. 0.272 accuracy on all of these tanks, and some of these tanks like the T62, the Leopard, the grill, that is why many people like the grill, because of the accuracy on the thing. The gun dispersion is absolutely amazing on all of these tanks. You can snapshot tanks when, I mean, you shouldn't be able to get these shots off. And seeing as this is a Russian, people always like, Russian accuracy, blah blah blah. But yeah, the T62 is exempt from that list, because Wargaming buffed the accuracy, and now not only is it one of the strongest tier 10 mediums, like it has everything, it also now has the accuracy and the turret, it has everything. The E50M as well, like I've said, the accuracy on that thing is crazy. The Leopard 1, it's one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. These are laser guns. I was quite surprised to see tanks like the AT-15 there, to be honest. I didn't think that was that accurate, but I guess it is. So let me know in the comments if you guessed what it was early on before I said. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsy69. And I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With